Well, not to keep everyone waiting too long, let's go ahead and kick this off. So we appreciate everyone taking the time to join us for our FEVOForum presents new offer use cases and innovations to drive more revenue. My name is Jamie Hernandez. I am our EVP of Partner Success here with FEVO. And I am joined by Valerie, Tanaka, and James Armold. Valerie joins us from the United Center and James joins us from DC United. We're very excited to be able to share with you guys some of the use cases and innovative ways that both of them have been using FEVO to drive more revenue at their respective organizations. I will not do their intros any justice, so I actually want to flip it over to them so they can intro themselves to everyone that we have here. So with that said, Valerie, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Jamie. I'm Valerie Tanaka. I've been at the United Center 22 years. I'm currently the Senior Director of Premium Operations. And previous to that at the United Center, I head up the service part of our premium seating. So I've been here a while and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. And for those of you that are like, Valerie looks familiar, she was on stage at FEVO Fest and she also was at ALSD. Dropping some knowledge there. So if you're like, where have I seen Valerie before? Those might be the spots. So appreciate you joining us, Valerie. James, turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jamie. Hope everybody's having a great week. My name is James Armold. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales and Service with DC United. Valerie beats me in tenure. I've been here for going on my 11th season, overseeing and helping lead all of our new business and service initiatives here, but pumped to be here today.
Awesome, James. We appreciate you having us. James has been a FEVO believer from almost day one, if not day one. So James has been with us for quite some time. So you can definitely pick his brain on the evolution of what FEVO has brought to the table. So we're super excited to get James's insights here as we kind of move forward with this webinar. So wanted to first just touch on very high level for everyone. What makes FEVO a good option for you guys to drive new use cases, new innovations in with your organization? We can always talk about the lightning fast checkout that FEVO has, right? From this standpoint, like literally I can order an Uber to come pick me up in 2 clicks. I can order food to be delivered to my house in 2 clicks. We've even gotten to the point where if I wanted to get a mortgage on better.com in 2 clicks, I could do so. Or if I wanted to buy a Tesla in 2 clicks, I can also do that. So my question for everyone is always, how can we sell your events, your tickets in 2 clicks, right? In a way that the fans like to digest your product. People are so used to being able to buy things so quickly. I could literally hand my iPhone to my 2-year-old goddaughter and she could figure out a way to purchase something on my phone. So making it quick and easy for people to be able to buy, I think is super important and something for every organization and team to kind of question, are we making it easy for our fans to buy our product and our tickets? Obviously, mobile first, we're seeing a massive trend into people buying things mobilely, right? Even nowadays, my phone does me the disservice of telling me how much time I spent on my phone that day. And sometimes that number can be pretty alarming. But I literally do work-related personal stuff, social media, calling my mom, right? Which everyone should do if you haven't yet. Call your mom, check in, make sure she's good. We do everything on our phone. So being able to kind of meet everyone at that point where they want to buy on their phone is big. And we see the trends going that way where at some point, maybe 100% of transactions that happen online will be happening mobilely. Social sharing, right? Inviting friends, people, amplifying their networks. It's 2022. Being an influencer could be a career for people. In fact, most recently, a couple of years ago, right? We saw a couple influencers get a bunch of young people to show up to a deserted island in the Bahamas for Fire Festival. Like that is the power of influencers. People are always looking for the next trend and looking to jump on so they don't have FOMO. And kind of one of the things we also want to talk about is going beyond tickets. A lot of people on this call are in charge of selling tickets, driving revenue, what are some complementary items that we can sell with that in order to be able to capture more revenue for your fans, right? A one-stop shop for them to be able to purchase their tickets, but on top of that, get other things that make sense when they're coming to their event. So the point is, you guys can get a quick and easy mobile optimized flow to sell things through FEVO. And before I even jump into talking with Valerie and James about what they've been doing respectively in the organizations, I kind of just wanted to, talk a little bit about some of the success that I've been seeing and my team has been seeing here on the FEVO front from that standpoint. And that is that, there's a bunch of different ways you can use our tech, and we've developed some cool examples with other partners. So some of you might already be doing these things. Some of you maybe haven't, and you can get some ideas from here. So again, feel free to ask any questions at any point, but I'm about to go through some of the cool ways and use cases that some partners have been using us. So the first that I want to discuss is obviously just kind of bring up is using Costco as a distribution. We have a deal with Costco where we can go ahead and work with your organization to submit an offer that can either live in warehouses or on Costco.com to be able to sell more tickets for you. Guys, Costco has such a crazy reach. There are more people in the country, more households in the country that have Costco cards for that house than have cable TV now. Costco also sells more wine, rotisserie chicken, and diamonds than any other store in the country. So very affluent demographic base that go to Costco. So in my opinion, everyone should be exploring, how to get into Costco and get their product in there. We've been doing a lot of promo gating with our partners, utilizing promo codes to gate your offers. The one that comes to mind that I've seen the most success with is corporate partner hubs, right? How do we build one offer for all 100 of our corporate partners? And these corporate partners can come in and type in a promo code that is unique to them, and that unlocks the discount for them and their employees. One of the questions we've seen a lot this last year, and especially post-pandemic, has been, hey, we don't want to necessarily bring all of our employees out to one game, right? We don't necessarily feel comfortable making everyone go to one game together. No problem. Let's get you a link. Let's gate it by your company's name or an acronym. And now your employees and their family and friends can get discounts. It is a perk to that business to partner with you. So let's give them, promo gating capabilities. And we've seen that rinsed and reused by a lot of partners, and we're seeing a lot of success from that front. Offer codes is something that we can also do on FEVO. And the difference between your promo codes and your offer codes is that the offer codes can actually give your fans a set value within that, right? One free ticket, $50 off, things of that nature, where maybe you want to do a buy one, get one free, or hey, it's a youth program, the kid gets one free ticket, the parents can add on additionals. We're seeing a lot of teams utilize the push-pull method where, hey, we'll give you one free ticket in return. Obviously, the hope is you purchase a lot more tickets to come out to the game. So we do have the offer codes available to our partners. If you have any questions on these, feel free to drop in the Q&A or reach out to your success rep, and we can kind of walk you through offer codes, promo codes, things of that nature. Bundling. I'm excited about bundling because we'll actually have James talk about it a little bit in a little bit here. But being able to sell different events as a bundle to your customers, if it's potentially one game for you and one game for another partner, or a game that got added to your schedule late, whatever it may be, you guys can now bundle offers in our new social cart, and that'll push two events directly onto the customer. So bundling, I think, is a great way, obviously, to drive some revenue for two different events, or even tickets plus parking, things of that nature. Valerie will be helping us with talking about digitizing premium and suites, being able to sell those online. Historically, premium and suites has been something that people would have to call in for and talk to someone. And now it's, hey, how do we kind of flip that switch, right? If I can buy a Tesla and spend $100,000 on it, I can definitely buy other things of that nature and that price point. And lastly, what complementary items do you guys have? Are you selling parking? Are you selling food and beverage vouchers? We've seen some partners sell beer and drink vouchers to pre-sell them before you even get to the game. We have people that sell scoreboard messages through us. Whatever you could think of, kids clubs, things of that nature, bring it, have that conversation with us. We think we can help you digitize a lot of those things. And so those are just ideas that I've seen, that my team has seen. Feel free. A lot of you are probably already working on some of that stuff, but please don't hesitate to reach out to the FEVO team and have these brainstorming sessions as to what you're already doing and how maybe we can help step in and either digitize some of those things or bring some of those efforts to life on our platform. With that said, I'd now like to just make reference to bundling. I just referenced bundling and how that's one of the ways that partners are utilizing us. In this scenario, we wanted to highlight James and his crew at DC United because they've been taking bundling to the next level. They're finding great use cases to use bundling and to bring that to their fans. Here you can see a nice screenshot of a holiday season one, where obviously it includes tickets and vouchers, gifts potentially, but I will stop talking and let James do it justice here. So without further ado, Mr. James Arnold, if you can come in, step in here and discuss about your guys' bundling efforts and kind of what goes into that decision and some of the results you guys saw for the group here.
For sure. No, I appreciate it, Jamie. I'll speak a little bit more big picture around this use case around our Audi Football Summit, where we hosted FC Bayern Munich from Germany actually yesterday. But historically, we've been fortunate enough to partner with FEVO and bring a number of bundling offers to life, be it holiday packs, ticketing to beers and things of that nature to really fuel those. But more specific to the Bayern match, I'll talk a little bit more about some of our key goals and objectives of the match, and then how we ultimately got to the point of our 2-pack offerings and then fueling it through FEVO. So this match was 8 to 9 months in the making, and the two key goals of ours when it started to become more of a real thing for us as a club was, number one, delivering a marquee event to Audi Field in the DMV area, one of which we haven't done in the past, and making sure we do it well. And number two, it's how are we maximizing it from a fan engagement and revenue perspective. And we looked at it from the revenue side, that came in kind of two core buckets for us, and that's leveraging it to add value back to our DC United side of the house, because this event actually laid outside of our 20 event schedule, of which we host on a year-by-year basis. And then the other piece is just how are we ensuring profitability, ultimately making sure that this game is a success, not just for the fans, but financially it's something for us that is sustainable to grow into the future. So when we were looking at leveraging it back to our DC United side of the business, the big piece was twofold. It was season ticket members. How are we taking care of them first and foremost? And then how are we using this to then attach new fans to our 2022 DC United season? So as part of that, we sat down and brainstormed and really started to put pen to paper on what this would look like. And through our on-sale planning and how we were prioritizing that, we got to a point where immediately upon on-sale, we took care of our season ticket members, gave them access to their exact seats at a heavily discounted price for the match for a 7-day window. And then your next shot at buying tickets to this match, if you weren't a DC United season ticket member, was to purchase a 2-pack offering. So it was a ticket to the FC Bayern match, which was yesterday, July 20th, and then a voucher that could be redeemed for a 2022 DC United regular season match. So landed on that packaging and value proposition just for the sheer fact that it was a low barrier for entry. And we thought that a lot of people would have an appetite to just add on an additional match not 5 matches, not 7 matches, but just an additional match. And as we started to look through the technology tools that we had at our disposal, our immediate first reaction is, hey, we're going to reach out to FEVO and see if they can help us power this thing. And fortunately, you guys were already in the processes of betaing this with other teams. So we sat down behind the scenes, probably had 7 to 10 meetings with myself, our ticket ops team, and your tech team to really flush it out. And we got it to a spot where we felt comfortable using FEVO in this manner. And through that 7-day window where we were transacting these 2 max packs via FEVO, we saw 2,000 total tickets sold, and we saw another 90 grand in incremental revenue back to our bottom line. And ultimately, the revenue is great, but these are 2,000 new tickets that we're then attributing over to the DC United side. And now we're actively trying to get them to redeem and come out to our matches. So, I mean, all in all, it was a massive success. We had 0 hesitations of working with FEVO. And I think we were very, very excited to see how it went. Because speaking with our ticket ops team and even our service team, who was doing a lot of the back and forth, no complaints, and it was a very seamless process. So we were really excited about that. And I think the other piece, if we want to go along to the next slide, is just the other piece that was important to us was just making sure we could create that seamless experience for the purchase process. I know sometimes on our end, we're looking at these at FEVO, and it's a great tool, but also there's fans that enjoy an ISM. They enjoy seeing that experience, but we were able to then take 8 different FEVO links and almost create our own pseudo ISM on our website and deep link 8 different event pages onto our site to give people selections into each respective section, which was great. And then our ticket ops team was over the moon because this was the only option we had that automated the voucher placement on the account with them having to go in and manually do it. So we saved not only hours during the purchasing process to make it easy on fans, but our ticket ops team saved a ton of time because they didn't have to go back in and do it. So this was a one-of-a-kind event. We're going to look to continue to do it year over year, not with Bayern, but with other international soccer teams. But this will be something that we'll continue to roll out in the future as our events business builds. And we're even working with our second division soccer team, Loudoun United. They're using it right now to package a Loudoun United soccer game, DC United soccer match as well for later on this month. So we're excited to continue to use this and see how we can continue to move the needle in other areas by using the functionality. But it was really, really great experience.
Love it, James. And one thing that I also kind of wanted to point was your guys' relationship with obviously Loudoun and how you guys are working together to do vouchers for both. But also one thing I want to note is these tickets were full priced, right? Like there wasn't necessarily a discount for obviously one of the biggest games that's coming up for you guys. So I'd like to point out to people that you don't necessarily need to discount things to put it on FEVO, right? It's quite okay to put a full price item on the platform and sell it that way. So don't necessarily think you need to discount stuff to put it on FEVO. You can sell full price items through this, which I just wanted to touch on because this is a perfect example of that.
And Jamie, to add on to that, I think our ability to take a full price ticket, put a voucher on it, and see how much volume we were able to move in that first week window, it actually helped us develop a higher floor. So we entered the market for single game higher because of how this went. And that floor actually, that kept through the entire sales cycle. So we actually were able to get a pretty good lift on our single game sales. And this was a good barometer for us to watch as we went through our on sale process. So I thought that was very, very helpful for us.
Love it. And James, we do have a question. Our good friend Jody says, have you seen much redemption on the DC United side? And how has that gone if you have?
We've seen about 40% of those tickets currently redeemed to date. And we have a pretty aggressive communication plan to get those redeemed. We have about 8 more matches left this year. So we're going to be working very, very diligently to work to get those redeemed and get those fans out to games. So that's where we're currently at.
Cool. There's no more questions. We'll go ahead and move on. So we appreciate the insight there, James. Next up on our docket is digitizing suites at the United Center. So obviously Valerie will touch on this, but I think it's very important to note when you guys are talking about digitizing suites and high-priced items, candidly, it's always been a product that you have to call in or talk to someone to be able to purchase. And I also think there's an education factor. I think a lot of fans naturally will assume that suites and premium hospitality are either A, sold out, or B, too pricey for them. Being able to digitize it and kind of present it to people in one shop on your guys' website lets them know, hey, there is availability, and B, there is, this is an affordable product actually, right? Like, maybe if I'm doing it for my company, it's a lot more affordable. Maybe I can get 20 friends to come with me. So kind of the education factor, I think, is a super important piece to being able to digitize what you guys do online with your premium and hospitality spaces. And we saw some big success with Valerie and her crew at the United Center. So I will go ahead and let Valerie speak to that. Valerie, floor is yours.
Thank you. So pre-pandemic, we had talked about putting suites online or selling suites online, but we never really moved forward with it. And I think it was in the fall of last year, we saw that some NFL teams were selling suites online, even MLB. So we started looking into it a little bit further. Both the teams, Bulls and Blackhawks, had used FEVO for group sales or their kids club, student passes. So it made sense to, because we already had a relationship with FEVO in the building, to give it a try. So we started setting it up probably in December, and we were ready to roll out in January. Now, we rolled out slowly with our day of event, our 20-person day of event rental suites. We have a variety of packages, but we started kind of slow. We just put up the classic menu package, 1 suite per level that we have. We put them up for sale for Bulls and Blackhawks games and just a few select special events. And, we saw it take off, and I'll get into a little bit more about why we think, we had a lot of success, but we were surprised. We didn't know, we were afraid we would cannibalize, our current customer base. And then also just didn't know, to your point, Jamie, whether people would buy such a high priced item, online, sight unseen. We tried to explain, in the drawer, as much as we could about each of the items, what was included. We included, the seat map of where it was located to try to help people along. But we saw, really good success. We were very happy that the majority of the buyers were new customers, and we added them to our, database. We would follow up each sale from our sales team. Someone would call them, make sure they were all set, give them a chance to upsell their menu package, and then also just try to build that relationship. So in the future, that maybe the person will contact them directly and, purchase more suites through us for additional events. So that was great. Also, the platform really helped us to simplify some of our internal processes. Our rental suite, we would send out a DocuSign. They would complete the DocuSign. Then we would have to let the box office know to sell the tickets into the account, charge the card, which half the time would be declined, have to go back. It was a really lengthy process to sell a rental suite. And, what was great about this is that they would just check the box to agree to our terms and conditions. And then, because of the integration with Ticketmaster, that was very seamless on our end as well. And then we would just follow up with the user to make sure that they knew, where they could go to log in and access those tickets. So that's great.
And just to touch here on some of these numbers, guys, obviously 62% of the people that bought suites were brand new to the database, right? I think that's a key component. These were people that were not in the CRM, not in a leads list anywhere. they stumbled across the website and decided to give you some nice hard-earned money to come out to a game. So I think these numbers speak for themselves in regards to how many new names are being put into the database, as well as how many people are buying mobilely and being able to purchase such a high-priced item on their phone.
And we've been really happy. You know, I say units sold, and yeah, I'll go to marketing, but we had over 168, probably we're closer to like 180 or 90 now in units because we saw such success with the 20-person suites. We were like, well, let's put up some of our 4-person boxes. Let's try our all-inclusive BMO club. What about an 8-person penthouse suite? So we're dabbling with like more of our products because we've seen such success. And so that's why it's not the number of suites sold, but it's units, just because we've kind of expanded our offerings. And so when we launched FEVO, we knew, we wanted people to be able to find the link easily if anyone's searching online or goes to the United Center website. So we started out real basic. We put like a book your suite button on the United Center website on our rental suite page, as well as each like individual game page. So if someone just happened to be on unitedcenter.com and they were interested, they could find that book your suite button and book right there. We also did the same on the Bulls website and the Blackhawks website, because those websites were getting more traffic than the arena website. So that has been successful. We partnered with a digital marketing agency with paid search and Facebook, Instagram ads. And that's been huge for us. These are just a couple samples of the ads that we did for Harry Styles. And then for a Bulls game. And, we've played around with the ads. We tested out some of our language. We found that more people were clicking on ads that said all inclusive. So we're like, let's go with that. Let's use all inclusive a little bit more. And then like for Harry Styles, he has a 5-day, 5-show residency in Chicago, which he's only going to like 4 places in North America. So for those ads, we expanded. We said, let's do these for nationwide, right? Because people might be traveling to Chicago and it happens to be the marathon weekend. Let's target some people maybe coming into town for the marathon, some marathon runners. So just getting creative with our ads. It's been really successful. In the first like 4 months, we saw an over 4 times return on our ad spend. So it's been really successful. And, in terms of looking ahead, it helped us prepare for next season because of the success that we saw. We are, putting our budget to increase, the ad spend for next year. We want to increase the search optimization on the United Center website to the United Center website from Google. So all these things that all these steps we're going to take, heading into next season, where, we're really excited to have a full season ahead of us. We plan on doing additional add-ons like liquor upgrades or premium menu upgrades, and just really expanding our menu, looking ahead. So we're excited about that. We did see, just some trends once we did start putting the smaller products up, like the 4-person suites or our all-inclusive clubs. Like people are definitely, it's a trend in our industry across the board, but gravitating towards the smaller products, which is good. So, we'll see how that affects our marketing efforts next year to try to maybe drive people more to the 20-person suites. But we're just glad that they're finding our product and exploring it. So it's been great.
Love it. We do have one question that maybe we can both actually tag team here. The question is there a way for us to block certain purchasers from buying these suites? For example, visiting team fans, or can we upload a list of people that are allowed to buy? Mike, great question. Good to hear from you, my man. The answer is yes. We can actually load in a specific email list, right? If you're like, hey, we only want these fans to be able to purchase this premium seat or this suite or whatever it may be. We see that be utilized a lot, especially with like pre-sales, right? Think of season ticket holder pre-sales, suite holder pre-sales, things of that nature. We have a list of their emails. We can load that list in directly, and they can be the only ones that are allowed to purchase because we have to, verify their email. In regards to blocking people, we can get it that way. I'm not sure if Valerie, if you've ever had to block anyone from buying a suite or anything of that nature. But I think uploading the list is definitely possible. Blocking specific people, maybe brokers or something along those lines, is something that we might just want to talk offline to, make sure we have their contact information. We all know how sneaky brokers could be in regards to how many emails and how many accounts they possibly could have. So I think that one might open Pandora's box a little bit, Mike, but we can definitely gate offers by a specific email list if you would want to.
Yeah, we never had to block anyone, but we did have a couple of like late night orders that the next day were disputed, where we're like,
Yeah.
maybe you didn't really want that Lil Durk suite that you bought at 2 a.m. So, yeah.
Cool. So obviously in this scenario with, just the current trend in suites, especially coming out of COVID, and Valerie can kind of help talk to this a little bit, for your guys' suites, has it been, especially now that we've digitized them and sold them online, given obviously the health consciousness and people getting back together, have you guys been able to see a trend? Is it corporate companies buying these suites? Is it more individuals? Have you guys been able to kind of take a look at that data and see who's coming out and buying these online for you guys?
Yeah, it's we love looking at the group name. I love the group name feature in FEVO, because we usually scan that and can quickly like figure out whether it's corporate or for personal use. And honestly, it's been about like 50-50. It seems like for Bulls and Hawks games, it was more corporate, but a lot of the concerts, like especially Harry Styles, it's all like girls' night out for Harry, things like that. So it's been, probably 50-50 just based on, looking at the group name and what people are putting in there as opposed to like, office outing or employee event. So
yeah, love it. No, again, I think, part of the education of letting people know, hey, suites aren't, necessarily out of your price range, and people coming out with their friends. I think being able to digitize it, you'll also see a little bit more kind of personal buys for the suites and people coming out as opposed to your normal corporate client database that comes out to utilize the suite. So Valerie, thank you so much for the insight there. We'll go ahead and move on to the next use case that we want to discuss, and that would be the Costco program. Obviously, I think for those of you that are about to enter the fall cycle, so I'm talking to NCAA, basketball, hockey, those of you that are going to start obviously selling tickets, if not already, very soon on a single game level, now would be the best time to start talking to your partner success rep about what Costco brings to the table, and what you guys can go ahead and potentially offer to be inside Costco stores or on Costco.com. I think the key components that you have to think about when it comes to Costco is they're the biggest retailer in this country, right? You can grow your database extensively, capture new names, capture new emails. I think just the marketing perspective of being inside of a Costco store on Costco.com is worth it on alone. I truly believe that if you sold 0 tickets through this program, which is highly doubtful, like even just that marketing perspective of getting you into these warehouses where there are 30,000 visitors, per week that walk into a Costco store. I myself frequently visit it for $1.50 hot dog and drink, right? Best deal out there if you ask me. So Costco does a great job of bringing people into their stores. How can we get your brand out there? How can we, more importantly, sell more tickets? They have so many unique visitors online. Most of you probably have some Costco memberships. So I think getting into Costco and having that conversation now is very important, especially for those of you in the fall cycle, to make sure that we get in there and launch before obviously your season does. So, from that perspective, Costco, I think, is a big revenue opportunity. Those of you that have already worked with Costco and our program can speak a little bit more to it. But luckily, we have James on the call. And before we actually jump into the Costco piece, James, we had a question for you that comes off from the bundling. And the question was, did we understand you correctly in that your bundle offer was integrated with your ticketing system, as in your account number, seat locations, first and last names were pushed in? And if so, who is your primary ticketer?
You guys might be able to answer this more eloquently than me, but yeah, it's fully integrated with Ticketmaster. We're a TM partner. So typically the agency of record will be the email. So if it comes in, it'll then route it directly back if they already have an existing account. And if they don't, they'll create an account. And my understanding is upon transaction for this 2-pack specifically, it break out the DC United Bayern ticket. The voucher is instantaneously loaded up onto their account. So they're immediately able to access that voucher once the order is processed and go in and redeem for a DC United match. So there's not much of a lag time. But Jamie, if there's anything that I missed on that one, let me know.
No, I think that was beautifully said. They are a Ticketmaster Arctics partner for that question. So obviously reach out to your success rep if you have any further questions. If Ticketmaster Arctics is not your primary, obviously let us know. We can discuss your options, but we'll go ahead and jump back in for James to talk about their Costco offer.
Cool. Thanks, Jamie. I think philosophically as a club from a sales and marketing perspective, we're continuously assessing options and partners or organizations that we can work with to ultimately extend ourselves out into the market in whatever form or fashion, be it youth organization, anything like that. And I think we saw a ton of teams starting to get on board with the Costco offering probably in Q4 of last year. And it really piqued our interest because a lot of the things that we're currently doing specifically around marketing and sales and getting ticket offers out there is probably 99% digital. And you're getting targeted and hit with a bunch of different things. We're all getting hit with a bunch of different things digitally. And when the Costco offering came up, we obviously saw the demographic that they serve. We know the key followings around Costco, and we thought this is a really excellent opportunity for us to almost go against the grain a little bit and be in brick and mortar and actually have physical, tangible kind of storefront items that people can actually pick up off the rack, take to the register and transact. But also it's also online. I have friends and family that'll across the nation that'll be like, yo, I just saw you on Costco. This is awesome. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like you're seeing our brand in other areas than just DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So it's been very, very successful to date. And I think to speak to almost the planning and preparation of it, it was very seamless to get off the ground. Very light lifts. We gave a little bit of marketing assets back to FEVO and Costco. They created it. We approved it. And then within 2 to 4 weeks, we're actually in Costco and then on their site and in email database blasts and things like that, which has been great. And we've seen about 65% of the purchasers that have come through are new to file, which is awesome. And then the other piece is I think we have about another 900 to 1,000 tickets currently redeemed. And I think we only launched after our 4th game of the year. So this is about halfway through our season. So good added value. Again, additional ticket bump, but also just new fans interacting with us. And then I know Jamie mentioned it, just from a branding perspective, the different companies and organizations that are in Costco, it's nice to be aligned with the Topgolfs of the world and things like that, because we're there right next to top products. And that just speaks to just us continuing to try to build credibility and be more of a presence in our area. So I'd say it's been great so far, and I'm excited to see the results come the end of the year.
Love it. Yeah, for those of you that are asking, hey, how do we even start the conversation on Costco? What do we need to do? If you are a current partner of ours, feel free to reach out to your partner success rep. We can get the conversation going. We have Colin Goff and Dylan on our side on the FEVO team that handle everything from a Costco, so they can give from the Costco relationship. So they can give you all the insight into what we need, how we get an offer curated, how we submit it to Costco, so on and so forth. Basically, we can kind of be your conduit to present that to Costco. And if you're not a partner of ours, reach out to bd@fevo.com. And what are we waiting for? Let's chat, let's talk, let's get you on board. One other question that came in for Valerie on the suite side, did your sales reps also have the option to sell the suites as well? Or were they only available on FEVO? And if the reps were able to sell simultaneously, what was that process like in order to remove a suite that potentially was sold by the rep so it doesn't show up on FEVO?
Sure. Yeah, we did have a team of sales reps also selling rental suites. And, to to start again, since we were kind of like, let's see how it goes, we had dedicated inventory that was like FEVO only. And so the sales reps were selling different locations, and then we were putting on FEVO separate locations just to keep it separate. There would be a few times where someone might call in, or I saw this location online, can I just buy it through you? And in that case, then I would just go on and immediately take it off of FEVO for purchase. And then, going into this season, I think we'll probably proceed with that same game plan. As some games might be more popular than others, there might be a little bit of overlap, but we're just work together internally to make sure that no one's stepping on anyone's toes.
Awesome. Appreciate that. We had another question as to what do the tangible items look like for Costco in store? So basically, our team works closely with your team to get the logos, marks, the tangible items in stores. If you've been inside of Costco, they live pretty much right next to the gift cards. So they actually, our team will print out a stand with physical kind of gift cards that people can take to the register. Once they get to the register, the clerk will exchange it for an actual paper voucher. And that paper voucher has a QR code that takes them to the redemption page. And it also has a single-use code that fan can then use on the website to claim their tickets for the games that they would want. So that's kind of the tangible piece to it. There is actually a display that lives within Costco for people to grab. So hope that answers that question. That is, we're running up on 2 minutes. If there's any other questions, please feel free to drop them in. But if not, I would like to give a big thank you to James and Valerie for joining us today. And a big thank you for everyone that joined us and participated in the questions. We really appreciate it. If you have any follow-up questions, again, if you're a partner of ours, reach out to your partner success rep, ask whatever questions you may have. If you might be a prospect, haven't worked with FEVO before, feel free to reach out to bd@fevo.com and we will get back to you and answer any questions you may have. If there's anything else from anyone, feel free to reach out to myself. If you'd like to connect with Valerie and James, we always like to keep our FEVO ecosystem open. If there's any questions you want to ask them directly, please let us know. But we appreciate everyone taking the time. You guys have a great Thursday, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.